We'll be starting in like 5 minutes from now.
This meeting is being recorded.
Okay, we're good to start now. So, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining in. My name is Mahima and I'll be your host for this session. During the session, I would request you all to keep your mics muted, and in case you have any doubt or question, you can just unmute yourself and ask, or use the chat box for the same. Also, I would request not to turn on your video cameras during the session. All right, so let me quickly take you through Techcanvass first. We are an IT certification training organization. We help professionals crack their exams in the first attempt. We are IIB endorsed and PMI authorized training partners. We offer certification trainings for courses like CBAP, ECBA, CCBA, Agile, data analysis, project management, and more. Talking of today's session, it is quite helpful for those who are interested in becoming a project manager and crack their exam in the first attempt. We have with us Sudeep, who is a seasoned professional and also PMP certified. So over to you, Sudeep. Thank you all for joining in.
Thanks, Mahima. All right, so as I can see, it seems there's a bit of lag, what is being shared on the screen versus what is being seen. So yeah, I mean, I have already opened my introduction, but it seems it is loading now. So never mind. If in case you notice that what I am talking is not matching with what is there on the screen, please feel free to ping on the chat. I'll try to sync or try to take a pause. All right, having said that, okay, let the next slide come up. Or let me try, yeah, it came up now. Let me stop sharing and try to share it again. No, it should not help it. All right. So welcome everyone to today's session, today's webinar. Today we are going to talk about how to crack PMP certification examination on the very first attempt. But before we dive into that particular topic, let us first understand what is PMP certification. Project Management Certification is given by the Project Management Institute, which is PMI, to those who clear PMP examination. Since the project management industry is evolving rapidly, there is a need for good project managers in the field. So the PMP examination is the criteria to prove that you are a seasoned project manager. Before we try to dive into what has been updated or how to approach the examination, let us first dive into what has been updated and what has changed in terms of the blueprint. All right. First of all, we had previously 5 domains. That was initiating, planning. Yeah, the slide came up now. Sorry about that. Previously there were 5 domains, which were initiating, planning, executing, monitoring, controlling, and closing. Monitoring and controlling was one single domain. But with the new changes, we have just 3 domains: people, process, and business environment. Now, what are domain? Domain are defined as the high-level knowledge areas that is essential to the practice of project management. And what are tasks? Tasks are the underlying responsibilities of the project manager within each domain. So now people domain has around 14 tasks, from managing conflicts, leading the team, empowering team members, to engaging virtual teams and mentoring relevant stakeholders. Similarly, process domain has 17 tasks, from executing projects with urgency, managing communication, to determining appropriate project methods and managing project closure. On the same lines, the business environment domain has 4 tasks, from evaluating project benefits, addressing external business environment changes, to supporting the organizational changes. Right? Now, in terms of enablers, what are enablers? These are the illustrative examples of the work associated with each task. Please note that enablers are not meant to be an exhaustive list, but rather offer a few examples to help demonstrate what the task encompasses. Okay. Expect situational questions from predictive, agile, and hybrid approaches across all these three domains. You can expect half of the examination to be on predictive project management approach and the other half to be on agile or hybrid approach. Okay. Now, as per the new examination content outline, total of the people domain has a total of 42% of questions coming in the examination from that particular domain. Similarly, the process domain it covers around 50% of the total number of questions, and business environment is comparatively smaller at 8%. All right. Now, moving on, let us also understand what is the true nature of the examination. Let the slide come up. Yeah. So many people treat PMP certification as an educational examination, but it is not simply that. Rather, it involves some psychological testing. It does not only include the stuff that you read and study in PMBOK, which is the Project Management Book of Knowledge, PMI articles, and other guides. It has to make sure that you are able to react in a positive way to various and regularly occurring challenges in the project. And that is something your nerves can easily handle, not the crammed material. Right? Another important thing that is every time PMI exam is scheduled, it takes into account the new trends in the project management industry and incorporates them into the test. So it is important to stay aware of the new trends and challenges in project management. If you hold on to your previous knowledge or just onto the books that were written decades ago, you are going to miss on some important stuff. Please remember this. Moreover, the two important documents on PMI website regarding PMP exam are the exam syllabus document and the PMI code of ethics. The exam syllabus document or the examination content outline, which we commonly refer to as ECO, is extremely helpful as it includes the topics or skills required in a project manager and the process groups you should go by while preparing for the examination. Similarly, the PMI Code of Ethics has an overview of the moral and ethical values specifically for the PMI and project management domain. So going through both of these documents is going to be helpful for you. All right. Now, coming to the study plan, how to approach the study or how to prepare your study plan. The most important aspect of preparing and attempting any exam is to schedule study hours for it within your daily routine. You might be an early riser or might be a night owl. And trust me, I have been both in my personal experience. Also, you will have to balance your family or work or university life alongside it if in case you are still studying. So the point is that you should be able to create a custom study plan according to your sleeping habits and routine so that you can manage other chores of the day as well. Also, when you are using PMBOK guide, please remember that it has all the necessary information that you need. It contains an overview of the PMP certification as well as its requirements and conditions. It also lets you know the type and number of questions. It also tells you the time allotted for PMP exam and the passing criteria. Therefore, this examination guide, the PMBOK, contains a detailed information regarding the course and topics that are required to be covered. The percentage of questions for each subject is also well explained. So it is very important to study and refer from the PMBOK, not only solely depending on it. There are a lot of good books and data available for preparation, and make sure that you make use of all of them. But before that, you should be able to understand what is required and what is not. because PMBOK is like the Bible. Not everything is going to be covered in your certification examination. So try and understand the echo and then try and refer the PMBOK and study accordingly along with your preparation book. Now coming to the next item, process groups. Process groups are important to be understood as they are the backbone of any project. There are a total of 5 process groups with its own ITTOs. What are ITTOs? These are the inputs, tools and techniques, and outputs. Do not intend to cram or memorize them. This will do no good to you, but rather invest time into understanding them well enough. Memorizing ITTOs are not going to help you. Try and understand the logic behind ITTOs. Then only you will be able to remember or logically approach how or which particular ITTO is going to be used in which particular task or process group. Now, talking about ITTOs, ITTOs are cycles. The inputs, tools, and techniques and outputs, these are cycles that need to be understood because they are very complex. Without understanding the ITTOs, you are not going to get through PMP examination. So please buckle up in terms of the ITTOs. All right. Now, coming to the tools. ITTOs include various tools that are complex and difficult to comprehend. However, once you understand them, everything starts making sense. And that is why I mentioned that try and understand why the ITTOs are there or why it is being used. What kind of input and what kind of tools and techniques, when applied, gives you what kind of output, right? So understand all the different tools such as cause and effect diagrams, flow charts, check sheets, Pareto diagrams, histograms, control charts, and scatter diagrams, right? Now, apart from ITTOs and the tools, there is one more aspect which requires a bit of understanding and logical approach, which are the formulas. Okay? When you are practicing the questions, you will come across a lot of formulas. Make sure you spend some time on them and understand them well. Once you have understood, memorizing them will be very easy. Then practice a lot of questions to know how they actually fit in and how they are going to work. Okay? Because formulas have a certain logic. If you are able to understand them, you will be able to memorize them as well. Plus, you will be able to apply them as well, as and when you come across certain questions. In PMP examination, expect a bit of complex formula-based questions. It is not very easy ones or the basic ones. All right. Next are additional materials. There are many new and good books, study guides, as well as online sites that can help you with a good preparation. Restraining yourself to one book limits your area of knowledge. One of the most helpful books that you can refer is Rita Mulcahy's PMP Examination Preparation Book. Its 10th edition is the latest one, and it has an easy to understand language as compared to PMBOK guide. Because as I said, PMBOK is the Bible, but it is not necessarily written in a way which is very easy to understand if you are coming across PMBOK for the first time, or if you are reading it for the first time, right? So use the additional materials which are available. You have YouTube channels as well, for that matter. All right. Now, coming to practice tests. Many people tend to start practicing any sort of questions that come their way. Once you have understood the true nature and the outline of the examination, you should be able to differentiate between the questions that are significant and relevant and the ones that are not. While practicing, you will get to know that many questions are easy, direct, and short. Others may be trickier and time-consuming. There are formula-based as well as scenario-based questions. To be equally good in both cases, practice as many relevant questions as you can. Also, there are several ITTO questions that are based on the tools and techniques that we use in our day-to-day project management. For these kind of questions, you can refer to the guides on the PMI sites or the PMBOK itself. Apart from understanding and solving practice questions, it is also important to practice some overall end-to-end tests. Because first of all, you need to get habituated to sitting for 4 hours at a stretch. You may think that it is very easy, I might be able to do it, but if you are not habituated, you will start feeling very uncomfortable and restless in the middle of the examination. Okay, so that is why it is very important for you to take some end-to-end complete 4-hour long tests. There are PMP examinations available online as well as PMP papers available online. Writing and solving these past examinations before you actually appear in the examination is going to be helpful for you to help in articulation and management of stress as well as your time on the examination day. All right. Now, talking about the PMI website. Study and take help from the PMI articles on the PMI website. Remember, registering on PMI website is free of charge. It does not come with a cost. If you want to take up a certification examination, then only you are required to pay. Or if you want to take a membership, then only you are required to pay. But still on the PMI website, there are several articles which are available free of cost. Along with these articles, you also have the white papers which get added regularly. They address all the basic and newest trends going on in the industry. As they include such things in the examination, it is good to go through the site once a week and read the newly uploaded articles until the date of your examination. This tip is really going to be helpful. Okay. So if you manage and if you can go through or take into account all these aspects while you're preparing, you will be able to complete your preparation end to end in a very complete way. Okay. Apart from that, I keep on hearing this that, people have not cleared their certification examination. So why does that happen? According to me, what I have found from my mentees and from my peers who I have interacted with in my day-to-day life over the past many years, what I have noticed is that they do not have enough preparation. If enough time and effort is given, it is entirely possible for you to clear the PMP examination in the very first attempt. The number one reason people fail in the PMP certification examination is due to the lack of preparation. All right. The second point is timing. When it comes to the PMP examination, timing is key. Obviously, nobody wants to fail their PMP examination. So don't take test until you are confident about passing the examination. Take the examination before learning all PMBOK guide concepts. A guide to the project management body of knowledge is the best source of PM related knowledge, and it's the text you must understand before taking up the examination. If you take the examination before you understand these concepts, you are not likely to pass. Or taking the examination before you score 85% or higher consistently on practice examination also is something that you should be cognizant about. If you can't easily and consistently pass the practice examination, you should consider postponing your actual examination until you feel you are ready. But at the same time, waiting too long after your training course has been completed, that is also something which you should not do. Because the concepts are not fresh in your head anymore, you will start struggling to pass the tests and thus struggle to pass the examination. All right. According to me, I would recommend that you take up the examination within 30 to 60 days of completing your training course. Another thing that I have noticed is that some people try to cut corners and study on their own instead of taking a PMP certification course. Let me tell you, this is a very, very bad idea. There are courses available in the market for a reason, because they are useful. Do not try to cut corners. Examination preparation courses explain how the PMBOK guide is a framework and collection of best practices. It is not just a methodology. This means you can't use the PMBOK guide as your sole method of preparation. Also, a PMP examination preparation course will help you prepare for each specific section of the examination, breaking down major concepts to ensure that you have in-depth understanding. Another thing that I have noticed is the overconfidence. Many project managers believe that their professional experience is more than enough for them to help pass the examination. These project managers don't study, they don't participate in the courses because they are overconfident, thinking that they know everything they need to know about project management. While it's important to have real world experience, some project managers become too focused on their own processes and terminology, ignoring the PMBOK guide terms and practices. Now, since these topics make up the entirety of the test, you have to have a comprehensive understanding to pass. Experience is definitely beneficial, but remember, you should focus on the source material too. Not necessarily what PMI suggests as the best practice is being followed in your own organization. Okay, it can be minor, finer tweaks that your organization has made based on the context of the projects that they are executing, which is acceptable by PMI. But PMI is not going to cover those tweaks, those changes in the certification examination. And thus, it does not remain relevant anymore. So be careful of applying your practical knowledge on the examination. Okay. Then focusing on wrong concepts. The PMP examination covers a lot of material and a wide range of concepts. It can be easy to focus on the wrong areas. When you're too focused on running through practice examinations, instead of focusing on a combination of completing practicing examinations and studying concepts, you may end up failing. Not either one of the components are not important. Both of the components are important. The practice examinations and studying the concepts. You need to focus on both of them. For example, you could make a mistake like fixating on the math or on the formulas at the expense of the concepts. Therefore, it is important to balance the type of material that you are covering so that you have a well-rounded understanding of everything the test is going to cover. All right. Now, another aspect that I have noticed is that people generally focus mainly on the free resources. Free tools are great and can often be helpful. I completely agree to that. I myself told you that there are many free, websites and YouTube channels and material and articles and, white papers available on the internet. It can be helpful. It is not going to help you prepare out and out. Because only using free tools is a surefire way to fail the PMP examination. It's unwise to rely solely on free resources, as those materials might be outdated or they might not be completely accurate. Because they are also there available on the internet for free for a reason. It might not be the complete information that you are accessing. Right? So just ensure that you are using resources that are going to help you truly understand the concepts instead of simply answering the questions. If you want materials to enable solo study, stick to the ones offered by your PMP certification training provider if you're studying on your own. All right. Now, after discussing all these, after going through all these items, I would also like to call out some of the do's and don'ts that I personally, encourage and ask my mentees, ask my peers, ask my colleagues to undertake. Okay. Let us first take a look at the do's. The first item is to complete your PDU training before reading PMBOK. because the PDO training that you take through the PMP certification training providers, registered education providers, they are going to help you understand the concepts by breaking them down. You might not be able to completely understand the PMBOK if you start reading it without undertaking any training. Okay. Next is solve 1,000 practice questions minimum overall in total. 1,000 practice questions should be your target. Before that, do not consider your preparation to be complete. Then base your preparation on the knowledge areas instead of the chapters. Because if you focus on the knowledge areas, you will be able to understand where you are going wrong, plus where you are going right also. So when you are preparing for the certification examination, it is not only important for you to understand what you are doing wrong, you also need to understand what you are doing right. Because it cannot be a fluke that you ended up selecting an answer correctly. You have to logically select that. Right? Because if it is a fluke, there's a very high probability that you will end up marking that question incorrectly during your certification examination. The next point is try solving at least 30 questions in 30 minutes daily to develop that speed. Because you barely get 1 minute 19 seconds for covering each question in your certification examination on an average. Along with developing the speed, also track and measure your progress weekly. Whenever you take up a practice examination, whatever you score on that practice examination, note it down. This will help you, see your improvement. And that improvement will encourage you to move forward, to keep on going. If you do not see improvement, you will be very easily discouraged. So don't do that, but rather track and measure your progress on a weekly basis. Then, as I was mentioning, it is important for you to understand where you are going wrong. So analyze your incorrect answers and make notes to improve your understanding of why a particular answer you ended up marking incorrectly. Then best practices, make flashcards to improve your learning and retention ability. I remember a friend who took up the PMP certification examination. He did not have enough time available for him. So he made those flashcards and he kept it on his chest pocket of the shirt. Whenever he is going to the office or coming back from the office, at every single that he would stop by, he will take out the flashcards and he will go through them. That helped him a lot with the preparation. So flashcards, we generally don't take them, seriously, but these are really, really helpful. It improves your retention ability if you keep on going through the same flashcards or same set of flashcards again and again. All right. Apart from this, let us also take a look at the don'ts that you should not be doing. Okay. First of all, don't answer the questions based on your personal experience. As I was mentioning, it might be the case that what PMI suggests and what your organization practices might be different, might be tweaked. Right? So, because PMI provides you with guardrails, PMI always says that you should be able to tailor your projects as per the context of the project. So based on the context of the project, you might be seeing a slightly tweaked version of the actual process, which has been encouraged and developed by PMI. So do not go by that. The examination is based on PMBOK. PMI expects you to answer the questions based on PMBOK. Also, as I was mentioning previously, do not memorize the ITTOs. Do not try to mug them up. It is not going to be helpful. Try to understand the ITTOs, the inputs, tools, and techniques and outputs for each individual processes. Then don't get demotivated if you are not making progress in mock tests. I mentioned that you should be marking and tracking your progress on a weekly basis. But if in case you are not making progress, don't get demotivated. You will see the improvement. Just be consistent. Just keep on pushing yourself. Just keep on doing the practice tests. You will see improvement. Trust me. then don't depend solely on free materials or videos, as I mentioned previously on about the free material which are available. Try to understand and refer the material that are available from PMI and from your training provider. They are much more helpful than the free materials. Free materials can always be used to refer and understand something in a better way, but it is not only the complete way, or it is not the only way, right? So do not depend solely on those items. Also, don't be in a hurry to complete the certification. You should be focusing on the preparation. As soon as, just like I mentioned previously, you should be taking up the certification examination within 30 to 60 days of completing your training. But that does not mean that you take up the certification examination the very next week, right? So don't be in a hurry. Take your time. Do not procrastinate, but at the same time, do not rush through. Take your time, focus on the preparation, and then attempt the examination. Okay. Some of the personal tips that I have always given to people I have interacted with, I have worked with in the past. And those are tips that have helped me pass my PMP certification examination. And that is something that I would like to share with you all. First of all, read Pembroke and Rita Mulcahy cover to cover at least 2 times each. So Pembroke is roughly around 600 pages. Rita Mulcahy 10th edition is around 600 pages. So both put together 1200 pages times 2, around 2400 pages, right? Bare minimum, try to compute this. If you can, read it 3 times each. But if you cannot, if you do not have that kind of reading speed, don't worry, read it at least 2 times. So how you should be approaching this is, first of all, when you start with Pembroke, go through the appendix or go through the I forgot the term. It is there on the PMI website, where all the jargons are there. Sorry, it's not recurring. It's not coming to me right now. So basically, you have, yeah. Somebody was saying something.
Is it glossary?
Glossary? No, not glossary. I mean, we have an official term for that. Somehow, I just completely went blank on that particular word. Okay, but I think you got my gist. You got the point. The glossary or the appendix or the list of jargons which are there towards the end of the Pembroke. Start with that, because it gets very difficult. And I personally made this mistake. It gets very difficult when you're going through Pembroke and you keep on referring back and keep on checking. Okay, what was EAC? What was BAC? What was ETC? You don't understand, and those kind of things are written there. What is variance? What is planning package? What is control account? You don't know these terms. So try to read those first and then start reading your Pembroke. So first attempt, complete your Pembroke end to end with an intent of completing the book, not with an intent of understanding what you're reading. On the very first attempt, there's a very high probability that you will not be able to retain all the information that you are reading. That is fine. It happens. It happens with nearly everyone. Okay? Just try to push through and finish reading the Pembroke. Whether you're retaining the information or not, keep on making progress. Next, alternatively, come and read Rita Mulcahy for the first time. When you read Rita Mulcahy for the first time, by default, you will start understanding things, because Rita Mulcahy is written in a better language. It explains things better. It makes things fun. So once you have read Rita Mulcahy end to end, come back to Pembroke again, start reading Pembroke for the second time. This is the time when you should start making your notes. your manual handwritten notes. Okay. Once you have done that, write down all the formulas at one place, make your notes, try and make your notes based on the understanding that you are getting at that point in time. Then come back and start reading Rita for the second time and cross check whether your notes are actually making sense or whether they are exactly the same what is written in Rita. Try and match your understanding with what is written in Rita Mulki when you are going through Rita Mulki for the second time. Right? If not, in that case, update your notes. Make changes to your notes. So that will be a very easily handy reference material that you will end up preparing, which you can refer to just before taking up your certification examination a day or two before. All right. Another thing is consult and collaborate with your colleagues or peers. Even better if you can find a study buddy. Because if you have a study buddy or if you have a peer or colleague, they will try to push you, you will try to push them. Have this habit of letting each other know what you have done for that particular day. Okay. So ideally, you should be spending 2 to 3 hours on a weekday, considering you are working or you're studying, and on weekends, 5 to 6 hours. So what will happen if you have a study buddy is that you will, let's assume that you have not studied for that particular day. You did not get the time. You missed your study. So you went to the study buddy. You said that, I did not study. Your study buddy said, oh, I completed the forecasting. I completed the cost variance today. You will feel a bit bad. Next day, again, you did not study. Again, you go back. Again, your study buddy says, oh, I completed this particular topic today. Again, you will feel bad. The third day, just because you don't want to get into that situation, just because you have to face your study buddy and you do not want to say that I did not study again, third day in a row, you will end up covering something or the other. This is something which will put you in the habit of studying on a regular basis. Right? I'm sure you would have heard about this particular book, Atomic Habits. Right? The same kind of thing is there in Atomic Habits also, wherein it talks about that whether you study or not, please sit down in your table and chair and open your book and study for 2 minutes. Initially, you will find it very stupid that why I should open my book, do so much of preparation, make the effort of sitting down on my table and chair, open the book and study just for 2 minutes and close it. But you will not realize gradually if you keep on doing the same thing every day, because it is 2 minutes, your brain is not taking that stress. You are easily able to accommodate those 2 minutes within your busy schedule. But gradually, automatically, you will start increasing the time. You will not even realize that. And at the same time, you will develop the habit of studying regularly. So try and apply this if you are having difficulty finding time to study properly on a regular basis. Okay. Again, the third point, keep yourself updated with the latest information related to PMP from the PMI website. Because there are many things, I do not remember the exact question, but I remember coming across one particular question in my PMP examination, which did not come from PMBOK, but came from one of the white papers that I read. And luckily, I read that white paper. So it is not always the case that PMI drafts or creates the questions specifically word to word what is there in the PMBOK. It can also come, some information can be derived from the articles or the white papers that are being written. Okay. Then it is very, very important for you to take the PMI official courses, training courses, preparation courses from the registered education providers. Because the education providers or the training providers who are not registered with PMI, they do not get these updates in a timely fashion. They are not able to update their course content in a timely fashion. You will end up paying the money, but you will end up going through study material which is outdated, which is no more aligned to PMBOK or to PMP certification examination. Right? Then finally, take the examination in the day because your body and mind are fresh, even if you are a night owl. This is inbuilt into our biological system. In the daytime, you will obviously be active, no matter if you are working in the night shift for the past 7, 8, 10 years. Your body and mind will always be fresh in the morning. Okay. So if not morning, if you are a late riser, even in that case, try to take it in the daytime at least. All right. This is going to help you concentrate and focus better. With this, I'm done with my piece of sharing the information and this webinar. If you have any questions regarding the preparation, please feel free to ask. I would be happy to share and let you pick my brain.
Sudeep, hi, this is Naveen Ramchandani. First of all, thank you very much for these excellent pointers. I mean, I'm sure they are very, very helpful. Just to give you a small summary, I just completed my courses 2 weeks back from Techcanvass only, and I've already
Mhm.
started my preparations. As you did mention, the first thing I did is I went through the PMBOK guide, and then I
Mhm.
started with Vita Mulkai. And as you mentioned before, now PMBOK guide was actually difficult to understand. So what I'm doing now, is going back to the method of, again going back to all the content of the training courses. Again, I would read the paper guide again. So do you think that it will be helpful way in case if I'm not understanding it, then I take a break for some time, do the other material and then refer to it again? Because frankly speaking, PMBOK has been very difficult to understand.
Yeah, that is absolutely fine. But taking a time, I would assume you mean by that you want to go to the other preparation book, which is Rita Mulke in that case, and then come back to PMBOK. That is what you are asking, right?
Yep, yes, sir. That's correct.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
apart from Ita Mulkai now, also the course content that we've been given by Tech Canvas.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That should be fine. That should be fine. Because to be very frank, PMBOK is a very dry book. Okay, it does not excite you. You will feel, severe lack of motivation to open the book and read it on a daily basis. To be very frank. Okay, you'll drag your feet every single day with PMBOK. I know that it happens. So it is fine. Once you have read PMBOK for the first time, go back to your training material that has been provided by your by the provider, or go back to the Rita Mulcahy preparation book or any other preparation book if you are using. Go back to that, refer to it, and come back to PMBOK. But do not drop your preparation. Do not take a break from your preparation. Something or the other you should keep on doing on a daily basis.
This is different because I'm trying to make it a habit of somehow the other at least spend 2 or 3 hours every day on the material, just to be in
Yeah.
touch on daily basis.
Yes. 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 That should be good. That should be fine. Any other questions, comments, concerns? You can even say you did not like the webinar. It is fine.
So thanks for the webinar. My question
Most
is,
welcome.
how many questions do we need to score for the fund?
Mm, I'm not sure if your voice is choppy or if there is a problem with the network. Can you write down the question on the chat?
Yeah, sure.
Sudip, we have a question in the chat box.
I'm not able to see anything.
Okay, I'll repeat it. So Ravi is asking, what is the passing score to clear PMP?
Okay. So PMI does not specify your passing percentage, but going by the historical information that we have, it is considered that if you score 85% or more, you will be able to pass the certification examination. So if it is 85% for the certification examination, in that case, try to target around 90% in your practice tests. So if you have been scoring consistently 90%, 95% in your practice tests, in that case, you should consider that you are good to take up the certification examination and you will be able to pass the PMP certification. Because PMP, after you complete the PMP certification examination, you do not get a report card. It does not specify how many questions were attempted, how many were answered, how many questions were correct, how many were incorrect, and things like that. It just gives you a baseline kind of a thing, a meter, wherein it either says you were above target, or whether you were at target, or whether you were below target. If you are at target and above target, you have passed the examination. If you are below target, you would have failed the examination. Any other questions?
There's one more from Ravi. He is asking any specific exam simulators to refer to.
Rita Mulcahy has an exam simulator. PMI website has certain examination simulators. If you, I do not remember whether I took the membership and then I got access to it, or whether I registered and then I got access to it. To be very frank, because it's been quite long since I completed my PMP certification. But I remember that PMI website has a examination simulator. And Rita, if you take the soft copy, if you buy the soft copy, or you buy it along with the DVD that it comes with, in that case, that DVD has an examination simulator that I used, and I found that examination simulator to be very nice. To be frank, I will hands down refer anybody and everybody to Rita Mulcahy, whether it is the book, whether it is the examination simulator, both ways.
Sudeep, just with regard to the preparation time, I have
Mhm.
enrolled for my exams for the 12th of January. And as I mentioned, I just completed my course 2 weeks back. So, I mean, almost 50 days of prep time as per you should be sufficient, right? If I go as per
Yeah,
whatever has been decided in the plan.
yeah. Because see, for me, I consider myself to be a speedy reader. So I completed reading both the books 2 times each, somewhere nearly within a month. And then the second month, nearly 2 to 3 weeks, I spent practicing mock tests and things like that. So 50 days should be good enough.
Okay, because to tell you quite frankly, my problem is reading. I get digressed very fast while reading. So, I'm going very slow on the reading.
So in that case, when you're reading, whatever you are finding important, try to make notes of that or try to create your flashcards. Okay. Or at least for the PMBOK part, try to read it as fast as you can, because if you are not able to retain the knowledge, at least try to finish the book. Because unconsciously or subconsciously, you will retain information when you're going through the books, even if you're not actively trying to retain that information.
Okay, well, that's a nice tip. Thank you so much.
But 2 to 3 years, please invest on a daily basis. I know, most of the people who are working in IT industry, they are going to have a long holiday coming up in Christmas. Try and utilize that. Just now the Thanksgiving went off. You got some nice long weekend. Stop going on bike rides with your friends. Please invest your time in professional development just for once, just for a couple of months.
Balvinder, are you asking for the Techcanvass PMP badge? Okay, one second, I'll just let you know. So the next batch is going to start on 17th of December. Guys, I've dropped the link to the PMP course in the chat box. In case you want to know more about it, you can have a look here. All right, Sudip, I think we are good to wrap up.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. I'll stop sharing my screen.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone, for joining in.
Thanks, everyone, for joining. All the very best. And if you have any queries, concerns, feel free to reach out to the Techcanvass team. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you, everyone.
The recording has stopped.